Hey guys, we'll be live in just a minute. AR, why don't you try talking so we can see if you exist? It was not, and what bugs me, here's what's stupid. I played audio before the show and it was showing up there. AR, talk now. Okay, it's there.
Okay.
It's very odd. There's two settings for the headset, and one of them only seems to pick up audio that is somehow labeled as like headset audio. So it does not pick up normal audio playing from the desktop, even though I was doing that. Like, I had audio playing on the desktop, I could see it on the meter. I'm like, okay, it's going to pick up any desktop audio. I have all my stuff muted, that's fine. Because I saw that.
I can't wait for the episode where your settings are somehow going to prevent them from hearing me and Dev, but it will somehow rickroll the audience.
Too
Don't
much
tempt
effort.
me.
Too much effort. But yeah, see, that's the trick is I can see the audio meters when we set shit up. So so reasonably quickly I notice when that doesn't happen. And I saw that it did it this time before the show, and I actually put everything in, and somehow it changed it again. Or it did that weird setting thing I mentioned. Dev,
Possessed.
okay, they can definitely hear you, Dev. I can tell. Let's see. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Jordan, who says they have a new bed and a house.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Make sure you get some nice pillows and towels. People always are like, no, get a big TV, and you want that if possible, but pillows and towels are important.
Do you have room for an Omegamon figure?
To be fair, you have room for an Omegamon figure. It's just a matter of, does it take up so much room that it's not worth the effort?
Yes.
Yeah. Sora, to find the Discord, go to the forum, and there's a button right under the banner, and that will get you in. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the With Duel podcast. We're here to entertain, inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run With the Will and produce Digimon on Blu-ray.
I'm AR Pulver, and I'll be representing Team Jacob.
I am DevQ, and I am very tired as usual.
I think we're all tired this week.
Oh, you have no idea.
In my case, people do have ideas because I've been tweeting about it.
I've had not only have I had convention drama today, I also, thanks to a slight miscommunication, turned out to be the coach of my kids' t-ball team, and their first practice was today.
Oh my God, you're at ASUN, aren't you, AR?
Yes.
Oh, you had a fun day. Is that the one?
I don't staff it.
Okay,
Thankfully.
okay. So you don't have to deal with it, although you do have to. You have to deal with. Yeah. Okay.
The thing is like I have many people who are very close to my life are staffing it, and they have had a really rough day. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel happy for the staff, especially since. Well, I don't care about the higher level staff, to be fair. Although, even though they realistically couldn't have controlled this based on what I know of how this sort of thing works. But the lower level people getting shit for something they can't even comment on.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Yeah. No, I even know some of the higher level people, and it's.
Oh, I assume. It's not. I assume it's not them. It's the convention center. They can't really enforce something if the convention center staff is not going to deal with it.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
The response to it has been bad. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Dev, aren't you glad you didn't get locked into work?
So much. So much.
Hey, look, it's Ghost Game a la Adventure.
As kind of fucky as this episode was,
this is a weird fucking episode because like
I
liked it. I think it also shows far more cracks in the show than we previously had seen, even in some bad episodes, was very weird. Although
I'm sort of the opposite,
yeah.
where it's like I thought this episode was just a complete mess, except for one thing that they did exceptionally well. And I'm looking at Ghost Game, going, "Where did you pull this from?"
to be fair, it's kind of nice when the random no information theories people have just get like blasted out of the sky. Because you know what I'm talking about, right?
No,
I'm
honestly.
not sure.
Dracumon's secretly going to be the series villain when he returns.
Yeah, that's
that didn't.
no,
That
they
didn't
used him
pan
for
out.
a reference.
That was awful. That was.
That was an impressively bad
That was
return of a character.
that
Holy
was
shit, that was amazing.
embarrassing. Oh my god.
Like even when we saw him in the back, I'm like, oh, they're actually gonna do
It's
something
like,
with him.
yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, he might
it's
be back. He's found a new
and,
posse.
and
He's
then
gonna.
boof, gone. It's like,
Yep.
wow, that was a
He
fucking waste.
he waits 22 episodes to get his revenge on Rudy and can't hold on for 10 more seconds.
That was amazing.
Oh my god.
I will say, man, that tower was really lit up red, wasn't it?
It was very shiny. Yeah.
I will say the setup was very standard for a vampire story, but it was done reasonably well.
It was done.
Means
The
Buddy's not
setup.
gonna riot because her
The
boy
setup was
survived.
done. Yeah, the setup was done reasonably well from Vamdamon's standpoint. The kids were dumb.
Well, here's the problem. It's hard to keep saying the kids are really fucking stupid when that's like the driving force behind every episode.
It's certainly a thing. They just seemed, Rudy especially seemed extra gullible this time. Like, she's straight up being told it's like this could very well be a trap. Like, nah.
And the thing is, like, her reasoning for it possibly being a trap is Angoramon, like, not liking the references to red.
That's even worse. Like, Angoramon's suspicious for all the wrong reasons. Like, these guys have a blood red theme. This is sus.
And
not, the Instagram photos of women that have clearly become vampires.
And Gamamon was very interested in it when he heard there was desserts involved.
That's fair. I'll get behind Gamamon there.
Yeah. We get the weird friend's back. We haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, Kotaro's back.
And again, his only usage is as a random 1-minute pervert.
He's the horny friend.
Yeah.
Welcome back, horny friend. We missed you a couple weeks ago.
I still really liked how, like, Ruli's a bit nervous, and you see Drakumon right behind her, and you get the voice without fully getting to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is framed really well. And then Angoramon...
And they did, like, they flashed back to, like, oh, they have a history.
Yeah, they did
this
it really
turn
well.
Into something, and then, nope.
Yeah, and then, like, I even remember when I was writing about the episode, I'm looking at the screen while, like, typing, and I have to look down at where I'm typing to actually erase out what I'm writing, because they killed him so fucking quickly once he started to do something. Because it was like, oh, Ruli's figured out vampire stuff's going on, Drakumon reveals the leader, Vamdaman, and then I start framing what's about to happen. And it's like, oh, erase that all and just put, and Drakumon is dead.
Like, Metal Edamon lasted longer than this guy.
And, like, not... Metal Edamon was there for, like, 2 or 3 episodes.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose he was. Yeah.
But, yeah. Literally, like... I do appreciate, though, that there's no question if he's dead or not. Like, there's no...
Motherfucker's dead.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's dead.
Well, maybe he went to Vamdamon's underground prison.
To be fair, here's the thing. Those two survived twice. They either got teleported to the Frontier Universe, or they just walked away and were fine. The dub was right all along.
Yeah, if Dracmon shows up at a bar in 25 years.
And then Vamdaman explains his plan in shocking detail, as any villain does. He will be the king.
At least he was doing it right.
He nicely
Was he, though?
he nicely opens the door for everyone.
Yeah, he opens like, I'm gonna test
Like,
to
he
see
is
if
the
you're worthy
drama.
of becoming vampires, and I was like, what's the difference between making them vampires now versus making sure they're worthy and then making them vampires? They're gonna have to be vampires either
because
way.
it's the villain thing, where the villain has to sit there and talk rather than do the thing that would actually end everything, even though he 100% could.
Strangely magnanimous too. It's like, I might share my glory with you if
And
you
and
pass my test.
and Matadormon's right there.
He just watches.
Yeah. And Gormon gets beat up very quickly.
Yeah, Sanglutmon. He was the one intelligent character in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
He was a
Sanglutmon
good
was a
boy.
good. He was a really good boy.
And
Like, he sees the threat that like Angoramon might be an issue here. He go out. He deals with it. He takes care of Angoramon, drags him in there, takes him out of the episode.
And
Sanglutmon
then-
was a good boy, and that's why I'm Team Jacob, honestly.
And then that's why it's no longer a Ruli episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the tradition goes in the series so far, they forgot it was a Ruli episode, so they knocked Angoramon out.
She had her chance and she blew it.
And then we get Betel, we get Tesla. Tesla
didn't make it that much longer.
The villains being shocked they can evolve. I still like when that happens, because that's in a lot of stuff where evolution is meant to be a bit odd.
Yeah.
But I like how they seemed like not bothered by it, more like curious at the idea.
They just raise an eyebrow. It's not like this stun. They're not like super stunned or anything by it. They're
And then
Digimon did bring up, it's like, oh, you are humans that can partner with Digimon. Oh, okay.
And then he kicks Tesla, and she's back to Jellymon, so that's done with.
It's like, they're not worried about it. Clearly.
Betel doesn't do much better. I will say, they should have framed what was going on with Hero earlier, because I thought something was happening that had to do with Galoose at first, until they stopped to explain what was happening.
What do you mean?
Because at first, Hero starts to, get ill, and we're seeing like the colors invert and purple and black. They take a bit to tell us what's happened to him. I thought something was happening with Betel going to turn into Galoose, or they would have to fight off him turning, or something like that.
That's certainly the impression I got.
And then they tell us, oh, that's not what's happening. A bat infected Betel with a virus that means Hero's taking the damage when Betel gets hit.
Oh no! I thought it was both. Honestly,
no, it had nothing to do with Galoose. They actually told us that all of that happening is just that virus.
Oh well, the episode's crap then.
Yeah. Then later,
that's another thing where finding out this information makes me think less of the episode.
it was just the bat. Then Vamdemon goes, "There's something special about you." And then the eyes go black, and we start getting the Galoose stuff. The stuff before was just the bat virus.
Oh no, don't confuse me. Yeah, no, that stuff was all the bat virus. I knew that much.
Yeah, the black
Galoose stuff. There was Galoose stuff.
We get the pep talk, and then we get the super evolution to Kano Weissmon, and I won't comment on something about Kano Weissmon because it has to do with a question later. But he looked nice until they animated the mouth, and then I went, "Wow, they're really showing what them animating the mouth with like the basic animation tween really shows why they should just leave the mouths alone, and they often do with that sort of Digimon."
And suddenly it was a Muppet.
Yes, and not a good Muppet.
No.
And then he just yeah. It was not.
But anyway, that moment, the idea of having to fight off the urge to go Galoose and getting Kano Weissmon instead, that was a culmination of a few different things, and that's what makes it click for me. Because
I don't think it does. I don't think it does because it's not a Hero and Gamamon episode. It
doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be.
The episode had nothing to do with them 90 seconds before. My issue is like it doesn't feel earned because it had nothing to do with it. It barely even was there a few seconds before it happened. Is my issue.
The reason why it's earned is it's not so much a Hero episode as it is a Hero arc. Like they're like this had been telegraphed. Like this had been
I
set
don't
up
think they, but it's
3
not
or
really
4
an,
different times in the
it's no,
past.
it's not really an arc because they've only dealt with it twice.
That's enough to have
I don't
recurring
think it is.
moments.
No, I don't think it is because none of those other times dealt with any of this.
It
It just
was
happened. It was
it's
just a
just
thing that happened, and
yeah,
now is the one time when it's been dealt with when he's ignored it, not only when it's happened, but even at times after it's happened, and they kind of just go farting off, is my main issue
right.
with it. It's not
Well,
earned
what
because what have they done to earn it, is the
right.
thing.
So
It
what
just kind of happened.
well,
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's
my
what
issue.
happened was like the first time obviously Gamamon loses control, then the next time is Gamamon fights to keep control. Third time is they
But
both kind of lose control. And this is the time where it's like, okay, we could do this again, similar to our
mm,
Kenimon, or we can be bigger than this. And
see,
this is a
I
moment where
think
Hero is stepping up, going, okay, we don't need to invoke that this time. We can get over this without having to get to that.
no.
So it's
See,
like this that's it.
I think he needs to try stepping in before the time when everything just works. Because he didn't really try stepping in the prior times. It just it was a thing that happened.
Who are you, Galuser?
No, Hero. I'm saying we need
Oh
to see
no,
the moment of him
Hero's
trying
stepped in.
before and it failing, or
I
because
consider I consider the Kenimon kind of the situation where
mm,
Hero's just like, nope, whatever, let it happen.
now see, I don't see that being. He talks to Galus a bit, and that's basically it. I mean, in the sense of recognizing what's happened and failing to deal with it. Because
Maybe, but it's still it
because
still is it's
because
still a
it means the first time that he tries to deal with it, oh, shiny flying guy with Muppet mouth.
yeah. See, I still think that our Kenimon that incident was enough of a failure on Hero's part for this to work for me. That's and it's
See,
still and
I think
it's still a my point is it's still a progression,
I
and
would I
that's
think I would feel like it's more of a
noteworthy.
progression if it was an episode that had any focus on Hero prior to a minute and a
Oh,
half before
again,
is my
Yeah.
issue.
I don't really care about that because there wasn't any focus on any of the other characters. Like it doesn't make like Ruri certainly doesn't
I
look
mean,
good in this episode.
you're not wrong, but also everyone defending the show keeps telling us it's episodic. If that's the defense, and they keep pulling up quotes from the producers, and that's not what episodic means, but if that's going to be the defense of how the show works, then it's very valid to point out that's not what's fucking happening in the show at all.
No, no. And that's where we're coming from. It's like
No,
it's not
exactly.
entirely like no, there's
But
this is like this
this
is
is
an
what
indication that no, they are setting
but
they
this is
do
all
set this
but
stuff
this
up.
is
They do
all
have this sort of
yes.
very slow plan to execute this
But it's
stuff.
also a case where you needed something in the episode in some fashion to deal with it, not just Gamamon 15 minutes earlier going, ooh, there's desserts, is my
Yeah,
issue. Is this you need something to be the push forward, not just something that happens right before, is my main
I
issue.
think the shared trauma of Hito and Bettel
Eh.
was enough of a it counted enough for me that
Oh,
that on its own was
you're not gonna count Tesla getting kicked in the head?
no, I don't care.
Okay.
Nah.
Fair enough. And I do understand what you're saying. I could have used something happening here that wasn't just right before, like something coming up or being mentioned. Like if you have the time to have Gamamon stop and comment on dessert, which goes nowhere, you could have had something up, even just mentioning them talking off screen at something would have been nice
Yeah,
for
but
me.
then like if you do that, that kind of telegraphs it a little bit, and I kind of liked the surprise.
It does help that they aren't telling us stuff in guide
Yeah.
data where, because here's the thing, and we've discussed before, I can't not post them because someone else will just get them and then translate them really poorly. And Onke kindly goes through those so we have good translations of them.
Hmm.
And that's why they're posted. If
And
there was a way to not have them posted at all, I would not post them.
I just stay off Twitter between airing in Japan and me watching it. That's just my trick.
Yeah. But yeah, I
works for me because
see
I don't have one.
see I thought the episode was better than average and just had a odd handful of really poor mistakes.
Yeah, it's weird in the sense that as you said, like if we're treating this as an episodic thing, this one was kind of a disaster. But if we're treating it as kind of a long term, looking at long term
B-ish,
progression and
maybe.
stuff, this is pretty solid. It was a
No,
B minus for me.
it was a pretty solid episode. It oddly feels to me like the kind of episode that was good, but it feels like it's actually kicking the series down because certain elements are not fitting in very well.
Well, and it's all.
Here's the thing: if we had never seen Drakumon again, I would not have been bothered. Like if
Oh
it
yeah,
was just a
no.
villain running off, going, "I'll get you kids next time." I would have been
Yeah,
fine with that.
it's
Bringing him back and not only doing nothing with him, but not even the idea of him really feels like it kicked the episode down hard.
the problem with this episode in terms of assessing Ghost Game long term is that the stuff that works in this episode is the build ups and the payoffs that we get overall, not Drachmon particularly, but that's the stuff that that's the stuff that makes this episode those were the successes in this episode. The failures in this episode were the general day-to-day episodic bits. Those were just crap, and that's the stuff that Ghost Game is really hitched itself to, and that's probably what we're going to get 4 episodes out of 5, and that they're just not doing very well.
Also,
I
really
wonder if
weird.
they're going to be bringing up more Digimon disguising themselves as humans, because they already had that with like Arcanimon. So
They've
it's like,
done
is
that a
this going to be
lot.
like a theme?
Yeah, they've done that a lot.
One thing, did it really feel like they wanted to just kill off Vamdemon and then someone went, we should probably have him fly off like all the villains do?
Yeah,
It really
Use him later.
It really felt like because like everyone acts like he's dead, but then they had the bats go flying off and they're like,
away.
wink.
Yeah, I didn't get the impression that Vamdemon was dead, and I was just like,
No, but like the way, but like
all the women going back to normal, it's like, oh, that's your typical Ghost Game crap.
No, but that's what I mean. Like the other characters go back to normal. Matatormon acts like everything's been defeated. And also, like, maybe this is just me getting an odd read on it. Did it almost give him the vibe of being like he wasn't actually an underling? He was there watching for something?
Yeah, a little bit.
But is that a misread from us? Because I don't know, like, or was it just like his dialogue kind of was weird and gives that idea when maybe it wasn't? Because
I'm annoyed because that's his.
He was just kind of like chilling.
Yeah, I'm annoyed because it's annoying because they brought Drachmon back so poorly, and now we've got Matadormon and now we've got Vamdemon, Matadormon, and Sanglutmon running around. Who knows when the hell they're going to come back? And do we have any faith that they're going to come back?
It's an evolution line right there.
See, here's the thing. It may be 2.1 because it may be that we're supposed to take it as the bats aren't necessarily him; they're just flying off.
Right.
Like, do we actually know he's alive, or is that just an assumption on our part based on the bats flying?
Either way, it's at least 2 Digimon that have to think about.
One of which didn't do anything.
Yeah, Matadormon didn't do anything.
Like, it was very neat to see him, but that's why, that's why I think we all kind of skew to, he wasn't actually an underling. He was there to assist and watch because there's some bigger plan afoot. And we will see.
I mean, it'd be fun if it did, but we saw what happened to Drachmon.
Yeah, they're not really good with
I guess
continuing things.
Here's the thing. I don't think any of us are that upset with how they brought back Clockmon or Mummymon overall, though.
I didn't like how they did Clockmon. Mummymon was fine.
You didn't like him coming back? I thought he was a bit too heroic.
He went good guy way too easily.
You're not wrong, but I still kind of see. Did I like it, or was it just animated really nicely and it tricked me into thinking I liked it?
That one.
Yeah.
One. No, he was a bad guy, and like he was like coming to get his revenge. Like okay, here for that. There were other issues with that situation, but then all of a sudden it's like, he's going to be a good guy now, and it was just sort of weak.
You're not wrong. But the hammer animation was so nice. It tricked me. Yeah. So it's weird. Like, I think we're all like agreed it's better than average, but also
It's Ghost Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the weird thing is? One sec. I need to make sure this isn't in the questions because this came to mind, and now I'm like looking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like it's Ghost Game, but the parts
Okay.
that Ghost Game's supposed to be good at, they're not
Okay.
doing
This
well.
isn't in questions. I was gonna say, the more Ghost Game goes through, I think we're like looking at the show that's going to be like the least remembered over time.
Oh, I don't know.
Because
That's hard to.
yeah, it's hard to figure out long
I,
term because stuff can be weird, but it's like not much happens and it's not really all that interesting
I
overall.
think that some
At
of the
least it looks nice sometimes.
yeah, I think some of the visuals of just like the specific cool horror moments, I think that those will last.
Okay. Be honest. Is Ghost Game going to be more remembered for Ghost Game or for the Digivice V toy?
Ghost Game.
Ghost Game.
No, yeah, Ghost Game.
We'll be kidnapping AR in 10 years for a reunion special where we have to figure that out. And then,
Check it out.
So Vamdemon in the episode was played by Toshiyuki Morikawa, who was Belial Vamdemon in 02. In 02, he was also Devimon, Mummymon, Sora's dad, Oikawa.
He got around.
Yeah, he never
Yeah.
played the normal Vamdemon before this.
Yeah, I was actually I didn't know that. I assumed that was the same guy.
No, the original actor has come back for other stuff in Digimon. I think it was a case where they didn't want to suggest who was coming back by having a one-off actor.
Oh, that's fair.
So they have
Okay.
Mummymon and Oikawa's actor do it because he's there anyways. So you don't have to do casting notices or anything like that suggests, oh, you're bringing him back.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
no,
what I think was
makes
happening.
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And he has not, outside of a couple games, the last time he was in an Digimon anime actually was 02.
Huh.
Actually, wait, no,
Vamdemon in the,
X Evo. He was at Mummymon and X Evo, so that was the last time.
Who did Vamdemon in the stage play?
I don't think he actually talked in the stage play, did he?
Oh, okay.
I think we just
I
get
don't know.
I think we just get generic roaring, or we might have heard some,
roaring and Edamon narrating everything or something.
I think it was that. I think there was some voice, but I think it was Orano Graffiti who was Edamon in the stage play. I think.
Okay.
I think it was like some distorted stuff of him, but I'm pretty sure it actually was him.
I don't know. I made some comment in the review about Vamdemon following the tradition of killing his own underlings, and was thinking if that actually happened in the stage play or not. Because that would be the exception.
Well, it's confusing with the stage play.
It was Pico Devimon's actor, and he got murdered by a Vamdemon actor. So
then Hideyuki Hori came back to Digimon to play Matadormon. He hasn't been in Digimon for a while either. It's Dorbickmon from Cross Wars.
I don't even remember what that dude sounds like. I don't even know what the origin of his name is still. It's been years.
Oh, Dorbickmon. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it's one of those weird things where like you just look at the cast and you're like, did you really bring him back for 2 lines, or is this like a hint?
Also, Dorbickmon was like the least memorable Death General.
I think the most memorable thing about him is when he does the cross that makes him like a centaur on a long name that I won't say correctly.
They all do something like that, though.
Yeah. And then Sangloopmon's Masaya Takatsuga, Unimon in Adventure 2020, and he also showed up as Manbomon in Adventure, Unimon and Saberdramon in Ghost Game, and he was Magnamon in Cyber Sleuth. That is a weird list of Digimon.
That's all over the place.
Just kind of there.
But it's at least interesting. And then Cannibal Mansion next time with everyone's friend Digitamamon. Now it's time for the important coin flip. Do we see Lamortmon next week? Well, this week.
Hell no.
I don't know. It feels like if you look at this episode, then you look at the preview, it kind of makes you go, But
it feels like we should.
But they also have done this to us before.
Rudy and Goromon already blew one chance to
progress. They've done. Those characters have done this multiple times, so we will see.
They need a few tries to get it right.
Yes. I don't know. I would love a Weird Mansion episode with Digitamamon to not only have an evolution but also be like really amusing because it feels like a weird setup. Like I really would like to see it.
I just want to dub and have Derek Stephen Prince doing the Peter Lorre voice.
Oh
my
god,
god,
I
yes.
can hear the scratch in the background. I can hear it because I've heard it so many times lately. And then the most exciting thing that everyone loves to talk about, fiscal reports. Something else that
I
if I
did
could
not
get
even take a look at the article.
something else that if I could get away with not posting I would, but god, these are the most misinterpreted things on the fucking planet.
It's the source for everyone's bad takes.
Yes. Functionally here, there's not actually much different last time because this is actually just covering the last year, so it covers the last few that we've seen. Basically, copyright business is up about 14%. They mentioned Digimon Adventure a number of times, especially outside of Japan and specifically North America.
All the stuff I keep getting at Hot Topic.
Yep.
The calendar has very little of note because the only big thing coming up is Survive, and it says July, which is nice since we know that. Under the app section, they mention New Century Doing Well in China. I need to check. I'm 99% sure this is an exact copy paste of the one from 3 months ago because it covers that period anyways. And here's the thing: the financial documents are always interesting to look at because these are where like people can't read them for shit, and I don't blame them. But if you actually look at them and just like the base information, at this point, from outside of Japan alone, if I can pull up that page, where are you? 1 second.
It's hiding.
Here we go. Okay, not overseas film, overseas licensing, meaning what Toei would get paid for licensing for products. It makes basically twice as much as what they get inside Japan for licensing products for Pretty Cure and Sailor Moon combined.
Wow.
So domestic licensing for the past year, Pretty Cure was 528 million yen. Sailor Moon was 257 million yen. Digimon was 15 million yen just for outside Japan.
What's Sailor Moon do internationally?
Not on the chart, and the last time Sailor Moon showed up on the chart, 1 sec. Film licensing in 2018, it got 367, and overseas, the product licensing, the last time it showed up was 2019 for 333. Now, here's the thing. We only get to see the top 4, but it makes it almost hard to imagine that at this point Sailor Moon making more money than Digimon.
It's just hard to wrap my head around.
Yes.
Like I can kind of find ways to rationalize that, but it's still hard to wrap my head around.
No, absolutely. And it's actually interesting seeing some of the weird differences. Like at the moment for film licensing, Dragon Ball is making less than One Piece. Of course, that's very obvious why it's making less.
I can
because
see that.
there's been nothing to license. Stuff's paid for already.
Yeah.
The movie comes out in a few months, and then we'll see an uptick in that. But even then, Dragon Ball with nothing for years is still like 75% of what One Piece is doing, arguably at its peak. Like One Piece is kind of stronger than Oh, absolutely. But yeah, it's cartoonishly shocking how well Digimon's doing, and that is nothing but good things for people who want stuff, especially if you want adventure stuff.
I want all of the stuff.
Because
one
thing that had people confused and a little upset is functionally there's no mention of Ghost Game, minus that it exists. That's not bad, but it's not good. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's that much of a surprise, though, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not blowing them away, I guess. But that also doesn't mean it's
no,
a failure.
Exactly. I would rank it as a C, because if it was doing bad, they would mention it, or at least mention the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
That the only mention of Ghost Game is functionally, hey, it was in the section of stuff airing.
Yeah.
But yeah, very impressive just to see how Sailor Moon makes sense because of it being basically at this point evergreen drive. I was actually surprised that it kind of blows away Pretty Cure. Because
Yeah, no, I agree.
that's so like product centric. I honestly would have thought that would have been higher. And then moving on from that, it, everything is on Hulu, and hilariously, they still have not added the rest of Adventure 2020.
I was gonna ask, are they going to actually add the rest of the 2020?
So here's the thing. For now, it's the license was. This is theoretically guessing on my part based on what's happened. The license was renewed before it expired. They just took down the notice. I would hope that in such a negotiation, it would have been to put up the rest of the show. And that just hasn't happened yet. But we will see. Because realistically, if you're going to pay to keep the show up, you might as well have the full show, because otherwise you're sending people to another streaming service to deal with that. And that's where it's kind of stupid. But we will see. And then we technically got a new survive. Calling it a trailer isn't quite right. It was kind of just like streamed as part
Gameplay
of an
footage.
event. Habu does introduction. We see some footage. Habu looks much better than the last time we saw him, I'll say.
Not being held at gunpoint.
But yeah, he
because Survive exists.
He had a new haircut. He looked reasonably well. Footage was nice. We got I don't think we've seen the little map footage of the kids before, have we?
Not that I recall.
We may have
Yeah, I don't
seen
think
one
so.
of the. I think we may have seen what's her name? Not Sora.
Aoi.
I think we may have seen an image of her in that at some point. But yeah, we're about 2.5 months to go.
I just like found it really silly that there was a choices matter decision with Labramon. Like, I don't know why that amuses me so much. Like, Labramon's talking, and it's like you have to make a decision regarding her. Like, is your relationship with Labramon going to go up or not?
It does appear they upgraded some of the character animations, I'll say. They seem less stuttery than what we've seen. Because before, I think we kind of they kind of looked like do you remember that Flash game with the little guy made out of the balls that you would grab and like throw against the wall?
Damn. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. The animation kind of felt like that, and this felt slightly smoother to me. Like, stuff looked a bit nicer. So I'm kind of...
more refined.
Yes, and that was nice to see. And, yeah, 2.5 months, we'll see where stuff ends up. And it's actually been a fun week. There's been... the card update's been fun. So we get Sunflowmon and Lotusmon. Yu gets a card, which we saw. For some reason, people are enamored with his fucking hair in this image.
I think people are so used to Hunter's Yu that they forgot how awful Yu in Cross Wars looked like.
Okay, that makes sense. Then I love the Monidamon card where we can clearly see the shot from the other card in the background, except the Monimon's flipped around and it has this weird fucking bug out face.
Oh, I love that shit.
And then Nene with a card.
I want that card, goddammit.
Yeah, it's hard to comment on the card because it's like, yes, it 100% looks like Nene. It's new art. And it 100% is the Digicross sequence, like from the others.
Yeah, that is certainly Nene.
Yeah. Then we start getting...
See, Nene in Cross Wars is more memorable than Hunter's Nene, so...
Then we start getting the run...
I miss cosplaying Nene.
Then we get the run of parallel cards. And we have some weird hidden themes of the parallel cards. The higher level Cross Digimon appear to be using well-known mech poses, like Shoutmon Cross 5 is very much a well-known Gundam pose. To the point that I was trying to track down like which version it was using, and I sent it to friends who knew Gundam better than me. Each one came back with a different fucking answer. And then I showed them the one I had checked, and they go, "Oh, that could be it." It's like, I think this is even the same artist. But yeah, like multiple people, each came with a completely different, not only completely different, all from model kit boxes. Metal Greymon, we saw the preview before. I tracked down what this was from, and this was not only this, I don't know what card game it is, but it's the same artist who did a similar pose for that, and that's not an uncommon. Dark Knightmon X is Asmaria, and man,
Gives me Zoid feels.
people do not understand artistic interpretation. I know he doesn't have the little red dingly thing on his head, but goddamn, people, leave the man alone. People are like really complaining, like the art does not match what the character looks like. If he doesn't want to,
So it's good.
if he didn't want to draw the red dingly thing on the top of his head, leave him alone. Like they are allowed to like the one that we all loved was the Agumon card from the art contest, and that doesn't really look like Agumon. It's an interpretation of Agumon.
It looks fun.
Yes, this one bothers me because like I know in my head I know what this is from. I can't like pull, like I can see the pose, I can see the hand spinning around holding it, and I showed the card to multiple people who know mech shows better than me, and they each had the same answer. I can see it in my head, I don't know what though.
Well, the first thing that came to mind was Lelouch's nightmare frame in Code Geass.
That's possible, because here's the thing, they're using like iconic
All
poses.
Bandai.
Yeah.
It's all Bandai.
Yeah, and Sparamon gets nice cartoony art with the other.
That's the look of a stone-faced killer
Yeah.
right there.
Although this art is very inaccurate, Dorulumon seems happy.
Yeah, that's a note.
Yeah. Angoramon with his two lower forms. I don't know why I like this card so much. It's like not special for a parallel card, but something about it just makes me happy seeing it.
It's very smiley.
Yes.
It's like Totoro with the little tiny Totoros.
Yeah. And then we get Keno Weissmon. I like this one. It's like, yeah, I like it.
Especially the background.
Yeah, the star field really helps.
Yeah.
Then Thetis gets this is amazing artwork. I like it's really like,
yeah.
Like there's all kinds of weird details here, and all everyone's focusing on is look at the Gamamon.
Gamamon and Samarimon.
There's references to other fucking cards in here. The swimming Monzemon with the mask. Lamortmon. Here's what's weird. I like the Lamortmon parallel card. It doesn't feel as special as some of the others, though, because this could be like a normal card for Lamortmon.
Like if it was zoomed out a little bit more.
Yeah.
You think it's just that it's so close up that we don't get to like appreciate the design?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That actually could be.
Like then, it just looks like the killer rabbit from Monty Python, like moments before you die.
So I'd like for the quote-unquote...
There should be an option card called the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
So for the quote-unquote non-cross Digimon, I'm not sure if I'm reading what they've done wrong, but it feels like it to me. So like looking at Minervamon and Venusmon, it feels like they're both themed after their profile art, but like modern takes on it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then if you look at Bloom Lordmon, it's sort of the same thing, but not quite as solid here. Although that art is fucking gorgeous.
The thing is, we don't have that much art of like Bloom Lordmon.
I know, but like
to the others.
But like truthfully, like when we got the cards of him last time, and both cards were doing the same attack, it kind of brought it down a bit. And this just looks really nice. Sakuyamon Miko-Mode.
The lighting.
Miko-Mode appears to have the same thing as the others, where it seems like a take on the profile art. It may also just be that that's the only interesting thing they can think of to do with her. And then we get, as we knew, the second quote-unquote ghost rare, which is the Booster Set 6 parallel art, but redone with one color and foil. And good luck finding it if you really want it. Although if you do find
Yeah, sell your
it
firstborn for
yeah,
one of those.
and if you do find it, good luck with the windfall. Because I don't like if I were to get cards and I got one of those, I don't know if I'd keep it. Like I feel like the money'd be more useful than having like like what do you do with that card? Like you don't play with it. Do you just frame it and
Yeah,
ignore it?
I got like that I need to figure out what to do with.
I mean,
Makes
I
it look so.
literally pulled the well, for Pokemon, I pulled the VMAX shiny Charizard
Okay,
card.
how much was that worth when you pull it?
About 400.
Okay, did you keep it?
Yes.
Okay, did you frame it? Is it there is a collectible? What did you do with it?
It is in like a little plastic sleeve hidden back in the tin that I pulled it from.
Okay, but what do you plan to do with it? Or is it you're going to hold on to it for years and then sell it to some sucker who desperately wants it for $2,000?
Possibly. It depends on how emotionally attached I am to it later.
Okay,
Because I like pretty shiny things.
okay, so for now it's a collectible. You might sell it. No,
Quite
that's
possibly.
fair enough. What would if you got this card pulling Digimon cards? What would you do with it?
Um, I don't know. It's Alphamon, and I like Alphamon, so more than likely I'd probably do the same thing, just make it pretty and keep it. But if the right price came up, I would be like,
Well, but
yeah,
remember
okay.
these are like these like go for four figures like the instant you see them. At least the last Ghost that was going for
Well,
stupid
it's
prices, and it sort of
Omegamon,
still is.
so
Yeah. No, you know what you can do, Dev? The shelf of Alphamon Shame. It can have the transforming figure not transformed. You can have the card next to it.
yep, yep.
There's probably a can badge from Try. Then Fun Digicub previewed a few more cards. We get Gankumon X. Great artwork there. I like the nice little X form of the Trubamon Vice in the background, just looking kind of goofy.
It's kind of
We
horrifying.
will swing back to the card that upset people, and hey, look, it's Jessmon GX, looking very Gundam-y.
Even more spikes.
Yes, and then we get an option card from him doing tech second Meppa.
Second
I was
Meppa.
gonna say Tekken Sasai, but that's what it's based on. That's not the attack. And then the card that upset people, Sistermon Seal.
She looks like she's having a good time.
She is.
She's on a date with Lilymon.
Well, she's going to get a drink to think about how upset people she doesn't care about her about this happening. Really fun card art, I have
Just
to say.
if anyone complains about her, she'll just run them over with her go-kart.
While having a cup of coffee and a cupcake.
While having her Starbucks.
Yeah. Lilymon needs to like hold her bag better though. Like I know like they wanted the bag in the package, the card art, but like what is she actually doing?
She's shaking it to see how much money she has to afford Starbucks.
And then
She's a Digimon. She just might not have a credit card.
and then in
Well,
a
she
stack
gives
of
me like Jellymon and Steel shit.
that may make sense. And then in a stack of previews, we get Tokomon. I love that Tokomon protecting the little goofy fucking little Poyomon. Soundbirdmon harassing Impmon. Cyberdramon standing there with Decardramon. Spotamon running with better known legend arms. And Omegamon X
Or Spotamon.
and Omegamon X standing there knowing that his card will be one of the most collectible from the set.
Yep. Yep.
He truly knows that. Yeah. Card Battle went back to their Sayaka festival, had her do some matches. I'm surprised they didn't have any previews this time. It's sort of like they realized they were almost to the end, so just don't do it.
They're
And
running out of cards.
yeah, to be fair, I like that they've changed what they used to do. What they used to do was they would finish with the normal previews no matter where they were the week before the set came out. And then they would just stop previewing them. They'd put them all up. And then they would slowly then start to do the parallel cards up to past when the set was out. Now they've kind of rejiggered what they do so that everything is in the lead up to the set, which is nice. And then we have products coming out. Premium Bandai USA put up a free shipping coupon. They put up Tamer Set 5 to pre-order for US purchases. The Imperial Dramon Shoto figure. That
Very nice.
both of those ship in December. I ordered the Shoto. I decided I want that. I'm just very amused. It looks so nice. It really does. So I'm happy that's coming out. Big Bad Toy Store has the 20th anniversary Tai Chi and Agumon Gem re-release. Then we have Digimon Profile went over the Legend Arms. Everyone loves this fucking artwork so much.
It's so derpy.
Yeah.
They detailed them. I'm especially happy they did not try to retcon in the one that everyone tries to like find. The one that fans seem to try to backpedal into being a Legend Arms, even though they go out of their way to exclude him each time, which is Ryudamon and his evolutions.
Yeah.
Because
Oriomon.
based on his profile, it always came across like he was some sort of prototype for something. It doesn't say what, and the suggestion is it is the Legend Arms, but I like him not being included. Is how I feel about it. The artwork's so nice. And for what's weird is we knew what Ludamon as a shield looked like, but for some reason him looking like Mickey Mouse got people very excited. Like, we've seen him before like that. I think it was just like, it's never been like so forward facing that like it gets shoved in your face and people are like, Mickey Mouse. And then we got the poll results for the human hybrid. Matt, these are like some of the least shocking ones ever.
These are the least inspiring answers.
Ognimon is first, which not shocking. Wolfmon's second, not shocking. Ranamon's third. You could argue that's shocking, but it's not.
That says a lot about the clientele there.
Duskmon and Fairymon are nearly in a tie. Lowemon's lower than I thought, to be honest, but a lot of people who would vote for Lowe.
Cool
that's the thing. It's basically in a tie with Duskmon, and a lot of the people who would vote for Loweimon probably would have voted for Duskmon.
Yeah, I mean, Duskmon's cooler than Loweimon.
Blitzmon really and Chalkmon, percentage-wise, Blitzmon and Chalkmon actually had a good showing. They just look bad because of how low they are in the rankings.
Yeah, those were never going to be the favorites. Yeah. I think I voted for Chalkmon,
but they're not
about
the
range I expected.
Yeah, but when you look at like where Ognimon is, Blitzmon and Chalkmon actually had a decent showing, better than I would have expected, to be honest. Mercurymon is there. And then Arbormon and Groutmon pull up in the back.
Poor Arbormon deserved better. Groutamon, I'm happy where he's at.
I
do not like.
For
Groutamon.
Some reason, 2%'s just funny, and I don't know why.
That's higher than I would have hoped for.
And then in the new poll, it's the fusion form hybrids.
Oh,
is there an option for I don't like any of these?
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to think like who. Design-wise is my favorite, and the answer's stupid.
Fucking penguin.
Yes,
penguin,
it's Snow Cone Penguin holding two. It's Snow Cone Penguin holding two popsicles.
Snow Cone Penguin holding two popsicles.
Because you're
gonna vote for Diaphanmon.
So here's the thing: 3 of them don't work because they are putting together pieces of other Digimon.
Yeah.
So for me, those aren't cohesive designs, and they're not meant to be.
And they're not even honestly, they're not. It's just being the hybrids they're not visually distinctive from like Ognimon and Wolfmon.
Yeah. Then throw out Rhino Kabuterimon just because I just don't think the design works. Like I get what they're going for, I just don't like it.
It's just kind of
Jet Sylphimon I actually think is weird and kind of interesting, but it's also kind of stupid, and I just don't like it.
I think Jet Sylphimon is a dark horse candidate.
If Jet Sylphimon wins, we're all going to say the same thing. It's the
may have to
spinnies.
vote.
It's the spinnies.
Yeah, it's the spinnies.
And then the only real choice is Snow Cone Penguin holding two
Snow Cone
popsicles.
Penguin. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
This is
And
one I'm honestly really hoping
realistically,
for.
it's going to be Aldemon and Beowulfmon.
Yeah.
I don't know which is which, but it feels
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those two.
this is one where I think Beowulfmon might get ahead just on the name alone.
Yes, and here's the thing. I think design-wise, from the artwork, not the overall design, it feels slightly more cohesive as a design than Aldemon. I think once you look at like Beowulfmon from any other angle, you start having issues. Especially when you realize like how the proportions of body parts are really fucking weird.
Also, because when you think about it, the name Beowulfmon makes no sense in context. But
No, but I like that they did it.
I like that they did it anyway.
Yes,
But
that is one of those.
it's really,
That is one of
it's
those
really
where
dumb.
that's one of those where it you make the wolf sound, so that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sora would like to know.
They kept it in the dub.
Sora would like to know if Spinny wins, will we do a shot? Probably not, but I will happily take a drink of water now and when that happens.
I will go get a snow cone if Diaponmon wins. I'll
It's
do
been
a
so long
See,
since
here's
I
the
had
thing:
snow.
snow cone or
Yeah.
popsicle? He makes snow cones, but he enjoys popsicles and fights with them. Also,
whatever it takes to get an ice cream headache. I think that would be the equivalent of doing a shot.
I think that'd be a popsicle.
Okay.
I want ice cream now.
I have ice cream.
It's tempting.
And then from Tenya Buno, we got a preview of him drawing Dreamers Chapter 9. This art's so fucking amusing.
It's like, yes, it's the cave.
No, here's the thing. Even ignoring the cape, the new character, Breakdramon, every time he draws this version of Patamon and I see it, I just fucking laugh. Like, it's just such a cute, amazing Patamon. And Pulsemon's
like
so
a
happy.
Piece of bread.
And Bokumon's ducking. And if you look slightly to the left, it appears there's a bullet flying at him.
Wow, Pokemon.
Duck!
Picking up the slack where Leomon left off.
Duck, motherfucker, duck! And here's the thing. I know that's just like some sort of art flair, but doesn't it kind of look like something's flying at his head? Like right to the left. Right to
how did the why are they going after these two and not the one in Frontier?
Because the one in Frontier is beloved by all.
He is not.
Yes, he is. He's the greatest character in the franchise. You know that. That's why they keep making.
I thought you were gonna say greatest character in Frontier. That's a low bar.
They keep making his book. They keep bringing him back in other stuff. Clearly, he's a beloved character with that band thing that he wears, and Patamon had it also. And then
he is Patamon's mommy.
And then Kenna Weissman, they put in the reference book. It's been so long since we got the profile art of him. Doesn't it really feel like he's been there, even though he 100% hasn't?
Yeah, really.
It's just because of the vital bracelet.
Yeah, but like most of this information is in the vital bracelet.
Yeah,
which
I think
makes
he
it
just
funnier.
took literally the exact same thing and copy pasted it.
Yeah. I think it's slightly. I think it is slightly longer here, but yes. I do like that artwork. Although the more I look at the artwork, the more I'm like trying to figure out what he's doing, because they want us to think he's flying because of the wings, but his feet are kind of in like a standing pose. And on the plus side, I can't see the strings they use to control his mouth in this art. Here's the thing. That is the best example of any time. And here's the thing. We've all done it at some point. It gotta be nicer if they animate the mouth, and then they do like the. Saying Muppets is true, but it's also wrong, because when they do it with the Muppets, it looks nice. This looks like.
It looks like somebody's.
Shadow
It looks
puppet?
like somebody's sock puppets. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we will be seeing more of Kenna Weissman, and you guys in the chat can start throwing up questions. Someone sent in one. They they don't understand why me and someone else from Discotech were bringing up Cyborg 009 regarding Digimon. Cyborg 009, the masters were hundreds and hundreds of tapes sent to Justin, the producer, and the show basically had to be reconstructed because the tapes were degraded or not working properly. So it was one of those where it was just note after note of, maybe something didn't transfer right, so we had to find something else. So it was, and Digimon has much more notes than that. So yeah, that's what that was. That was basically just referencing that Cyborg 009 had an extra on the disc that explained how hard it was to put the show back together, because there was no full release of the show anywhere in the world. Period. It
And to
did.
put together with scraps in a cave.
Well, and here's the thing: the dub didn't finish airing, even though it was produced. So if a tape for some of those aren't good, you can't put the dub on there. It would just be gone. Now, everything for that was fine, including the ones that never aired, but it's that sort of thing where there was just a lot, and it was stressful. Sora wants to know, on Steam or Switch, have we played Mary Skelter Nightmare? I have not.
I have not heard of it.
Neither have I.
Ooh.
Does not sound like my thing, though.
I've just been playing more of the House Flipper DLC.
Mary Skelter. I wanna take a quick look at this. It is not what we expected. I can say that for a fact.
What is it, all cutesy and is it a cute puzzle game or something?
I'm
like, it'd be really. Oh, okay. I was like really like something called Mary Skelter Nightmares, and it was like panel to pwn or something.
It is a first-person RPG with anime art box stuff. And reading the plot, it sounds very anime-ish.
Yeah, it's an Idea Factory game, so that's giving me signals.
Yeah. I think we've had this. I think we've had this discussion. Yeah, so definitely not. Although I think like we saw the title, we all like, oh, this is gonna be like some horror game.
Yeah, I was expecting survival horror. And...
Yes, we weren't expecting first-person anime dungeon crawler. Then someone wanted to know, are we actually going to do the mystery box and reviews again because they like Cleopatra? And
I don't think we're topping Cleopatra, I gotta tell you.
So before we move on to the second part of that, Cleopatra was unique in that big, well-known anime name. The movie is both coherent and a mess, and the movie's so fucking weird that
there's a lot to talk about with Cleopatra.
Like
I don't think you're gonna get that with a lot of the other entries. Like it might be interesting for us to watch. Like we might enjoy it, but we're not gonna have this 10-minute long breakdown.
It's sort of like
go over how messed up we are after having watched that.
No, it's sort of like I really think that out of the stuff that I sent AR, Memories is probably what he would enjoy the most.
Right.
I don't think we're going to have a fun conversation there because it is not necessarily straightforward, but like slightly more upscale stuff that we're going to have a relatively basic conversation because we know what we're going to say.
Yeah. And it might be something that's like more in my wheelhouse, that it's like, okay, this is something I can like, I enjoy it just fine, but it's like, it's not like blowing me away.
Cleopatra was
in terms of being weird.
Every minute something happens in Cleopatra that bears weird discussion, and I'm very happy that like I warned you about the gun thing because that was funny. Yeah. You had, as far as I recall, you had no idea. It starts off live action, but they animate the heads.
Yeah, I was not ready for that, and I'm like, oh god, the whole better not be like this.
Yeah. Or
so just a fantastic job with that.
Or like where it's like a weirdly horny film, but then also Astro Boy just flies through the screen at one point.
And the guy from Osamatsu was in there too. There's a bunch of references.
Yeah, it's just very strange, and that's kind of unique in that, like, okay, Aiko's also weird, but also like Aiko we can seriously discuss, which makes it less funny to actually discuss.
Aiko you can enjoy without getting any of the reference.
Yes.
And when I first watched it, I didn't get any of the references.
Yeah.
And I still liked it.
Yeah. And then they also want to know, were any titles came to mind that we might send to them that are that crazy? There are, but it's also stuff that, like, I'm not gonna... Like, there's weird shit I can send, but just sending stuff for the sake of it being weird or that AR won't like it doesn't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have spare copies of Kiss Sis. He's not gonna watch it.
Right. Like,
Like,
what's the...
you can guess the plot based on the title. But
Yeah.
there's no
It's...
realistically the funniest thing to do that actually, like, pays dividends in us being able to talk about it is me making sure I have an extra copy of both 1001 Nights and Cleopatra and send it to the opposite one.
Yeah. And like, those are movies that are not only weird, but also, like, intriguing with, like, historical value and stuff.
Yes. Especially in the sense of you have Helen McCarthy to walk you through the movie after the fact.
I don't think she's gonna be at ASEN, and I'm disappointed because I wanna
Aw.
talk to her about this.
1001 Nights is going to be... that's the one I'm actually interested in seeing AR's opinion, because it's not as weird as Cleopatra. It's a more coherent film. It's also still very weird. And it's also very weird that they dubbed it and we were able to recover the dub and remaster it.
Wow.
So think of a film like Cleopatra having a dub made in the era.
Yeah, in the Arrows. That was my next question. Is
Yes.
like, when did they dub that?
Yes, that was like, I believe the film came out in '67 in Japan, and the dub's like '69.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I'm sure that I got those wrong, but it's of the era the film was made in.
Yeah, something in that range that's enough to go. That's enough of. That's another element of historical artifact.
So yeah, there is stuff that I could think that I would send both of them. The issue is I'm not just gonna send them stuff that, haha, movie you won't like. There
Right.
are some examples of things I might send them that they won't like, but there would be a reason for it beyond that.
Yes.
Like I've mentioned the Lupin Special Pikel. It's very weird. It's not... I don't consider it good. I think most fans consider it among the worst Lupin there is. But it's the type of thing where you watch and there are things to appreciate in that it appears the entire thing is them figuring out how digital animation works.
Hmm.
But I'm not just going to send them stuff they hate for no reason, unless there's an actual reason for them to potentially watch it.
Yeah.
So that is inherently the issues. I'm not just going to go, AR is going to fucking hate this. I'm going to try to trick him into watching it. It's not worth my effort to...
Yeah. Also, if I think I'm gonna hate it flat out, I'm not going to watch it,
Yeah.
and there'd be no point to send it to me.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are adults and we have
No,
big
like that's the
control
thing.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I sent to either of them that is sent with the idea that 1 minute into watching that they're going to go, oh, this was sent to me as a joke. I'm not... Everything is real stuff, and that will continue. I can think of nothing.
Yeah.
I would... And it's also like,
if you send me a copy of Kiss Sis or something, I'm going to
chuck it. I would assume you chuck
I'm going to discard it before anyone finds out I have possession of
exactly.
it.
Like, here's the thing. Dev might want Kiss Sis just to have it.
Didn't really care.
No, but that's what I mean. It's not... I know AR is not going to watch it. There's no sense in me sending it to him, because what is he gonna pull out of the box? Go, oh, it's Kiss Sis. You said I hate it, and I'd go, ha ha. Now you're gonna throw it away. It's not worth any of our
Like,
effort.
you paid shipping for this.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I didn't send him the best Lupin on the planet. I didn't send him the worst. I sent him one that was a decent introduction.
Mm-hmm.
I have spare copies of Cagliostro. I didn't send that on purpose because it's
available online, isn't it?
I think it just left Netflix, actually.
Oh well.
But yeah, Cagliostro is weird because one of the greatest animated films of all time, and plenty of people would say it is. If you go through all of Lupin, it does not fit the mold. It's Miyazaki doing what he wants with the characters.
Okay.
And
It's
so
him in the Lupin
no,
sandbox.
no, he did plenty of Lupin. That's why he was hired to do the movie. But it goes back to when we talk about what expectations are for Digimon. Not everything's a great introduction, whether it's good or bad. You can show someone something that maybe is amazing. It may be a complete shit introduction though, because it gives someone nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'll send him Cagliostro and say, hey, watch it with your kid. Great movie. There's nothing inappropriate in it at all. There's even an edited version of the good dub that cuts down some mild cursing.
How dare you?
I didn't edit it. It's there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like I myself went in and changed the dub. But yeah, so there's nothing I would send them as a gag for the sake of being a gag. It's not, we're all adults and it's not worth the effort. Let's see. Jackie wants to know, do we want to see more Digimon disguised as humans and animals in future episodes? For me, does it serve the plot?
Yeah, like it's
Because
just a recurring thing that
is it recurring?
it's
It's happened a few times, but it's also not wholly necessary because if you
well,
have
yeah,
it's built into the plot of
sometimes sometimes
the
it
show that if a
sometimes it makes
Digimon's
sense to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it makes sense.
I'd like to see it some more, especially if it leads to something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious how much more we'll see it, if only because it is very unnecessary in the setup of the show where you can just have them walk around and people just assume they're a hologram.
Well, it's when they take a human form when they need to convince humans to do something
Yeah.
that they're representing somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Asked, do I build Gundam kits? I have model kits. I haven't built any in years. I have some of the recent Digimon ones. To be honest, I just don't have one. I don't have the time. When I do have the time, I don't necessarily have like the space setup where there's just like a nice table to sit there and do it at.
Yeah, that's now that you mention it, like I think I've been tempted to pick up one of the Digimon kits, but now that you mention that, I have cats.
Yeah,
Which is exactly why Metal Gurumon and Black War Greymon are still in their boxes, because
yeah,
I
it,
have a cat.
yeah. It's one of those things where like I will sometimes see a model kit, and some of the Digimons I get because I actually really do like them. But even if I have the time, I don't like. I look around and I'm like, my setup is based around stuff that is here. It there isn't just a big table sitting somewhere to do that on, and like I don't. Do I make sure there's enough space on the floor? Put down like a surface, sit next to it, cross-legged. I don't know. Yeah. So it's
I
not
mean,
that
when I
I.
was doing Omegamon, I had pieces of it go flying off of my desk and behind the computer and all over the place because my hairy child's an asshole.
Dev has animals attacking her. I'm not against it. I like the last non-Digimon kit I got. I don't remember if I got it. I pre-ordered it. Was when they were doing the Nissan Cup noodle one.
One of my
Um,
friends got that one. They got like two of them, and
yeah.
he absolutely
And
loved it.
also, I bought it because it was cheap and it seemed interesting, even though I didn't think I would ever put together. They did like a starter Gundam like a year ago. It was just like $7 or $8. It's just like a basic one that anyone could put together. And I just thought it looked nice, so I got that in case I ever had the time to. But haven't, so it's somewhere in a box. Um,
Yep.
then someone, this one was kind of interesting. I thought someone wanted to know, what Digimon TV shows do you think have the best music, the worst music, if you don't include the original version of Adventure?
I'd
See, here's the
probably
thing.
cheat
I was gonna say I'm not sure Adventure's even the strongest. It's just it probably has the best known music. But
yeah.
even then, there's
Uh,
not a ton. It's a handful of very well known songs. So
Yeah.
weakest.
And also, are we talking about the songs? Are we talking about the backing tracks as
That was not
well?
said.
Yeah.
I kind of just
Yeah,
took it
so
as
it's like,
music.
is it the songs that were only in the actual
See,
airing, or are we including like the
well,
characters' tunes and
well
stuff?
Oh, yeah.
they say TV show, so I would assume at least the show, but it just says musically. They did not specify if background or whatever. But
Yeah.
I
Taking cold, my cheat answer is 0-2.
so weakest for me is easy. It's Ghost Game.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The background music hasn't been very memorable to me. The only music I remember, in fact, is the Ghost Navigator at the beginning when he's doing the narration.
Mm-hmm.
And
Da, da,
yeah,
da.
the opening song I mostly like. I don't think it's super memorable, and the endings have not been memorable at all.
I like the opening is distinctive.
Yes,
It's catchy
and
for
the
me. I
insert,
like the
and
opening.
I
It's not
don't.
the best Digimon opening, but I'll give that a
Yeah,
pass. Now the endings are
yeah, and I don't know
they're
how I feel
forgivable.
about the insert's weird. I like it. It doesn't feel strong enough for how much it's been used. I honestly thought when we
Yeah.
saw Kano Weissmon, we'd get a new insert because it's not strong enough like a Braveheart where you can keep using it.
Yeah.
It needs
Yeah.
something
No, it's
else,
just there.
or at least a remix. Yeah. Strongest, man. There's some because AR you said
This
02,
is
right?
fucking hard.
I think Zero Two's
Yeah.
got to be in the conversation
So
there.
I would say things that have to be in the conversation are 02,
Mm-hmm.
Cross Wars.
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
That was the
i
one. That was the other one I was thinking
if
of.
you
That was
count,
between 0-2 and Cross Wars
yeah,
for me.
Cross Wars, I would argue whether you're counting Hunters or not, Hunters is in the conversation at least because it has
For
some
music, no,
strongs.
Hunters has solid
Yeah,
music.
Hunters has solid music. Adventure 2020 gets in.
The evolution themes, yeah,
See, I
definitely.
would say the background music's good also. It repeats a lot, but when it brings in new
Yeah,
stuff, they're very memorable.
yeah, it repeats too much for me,
You
especially
aren't
because
wrong.
especially because that big motif is
No,
pretty
you're.
much based off of
Oh, absolutely.
adventure. So
I don't believe that I would pick 2020. I think it's in the conversation though.
yeah, no, with the evolution
The Chain is
themes, that
still
Yes.
probably my favorite evolution theme.
yeah,
Yeah.
the evolution themes redeem 2020 for
Yeah.
sure.
And here's the thing. I'm still holding out hope that we do get those last two versions of Break the Chain.
Oh
And
yeah,
so do I.
yeah.
Because it feels like they're waiting to do like an album for him or something.
I could
Because
see that.
so I'm hopeful and I would look forward to that. But yeah, it's probably I think this would be based on mood for a lot of people. To be honest, I think it'd be 02 or Cross Wars though.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
that's what
leaning
I
a little
was.
more towards Crossways just because that's more of my taste.
Cross Wars also fits in very well with modern anime tunes. I think so. It still has that
Yeah,
familiarity of being kind of fresh. Uh,
That and like Blazing Blue Flare is just
yeah,
was my
well,
favorite
yeah,
one for a long ass time.
and here's why Cross Wars is so strong in the conversation for me. When you do the and you have to mention this song, that's almost every song in Cross Wars, to be honest.
yeah. I think as far as longevity goes, I think I'm not as big on New World as much as the other openings. It's just a little bit. It just doesn't quite work for me for for the story they're trying to for the series it represents. So that docks it just a little bit, but other than that, yeah, Cross Wars is good.
Okay, so Sora had something else regarding their Gundam thing. They were asking because they had 3 kits they wanted to get rid of for free. Uh, go donate those. I would say if you don't aren't gonna sell them, because here's the thing: people always donate stuff for babies. There's gonna be older kids who might need something, and that's something an older kid would probably enjoy.
Are you suggesting getting disadvantaged kids addicted to gunplay? How dare you?
No, I'm as much as I appreciate the joke, though, I actually am serious in that one because no one ever
Yeah, no, yeah.
there's never you don't ever hear about donations for like kids or teenagers. If you're not gonna sell them or give them to friends, find a place that could use them because someone's gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I
Honestly,
agree.
Um,
my local library takes a lot of like crafting kits and
Yeah, that's not a
similar thing.
that's not a bad idea. I would say if you don't have friends who want them, find people who could use them. Is honestly what I would say. Uh, they also want to know what did we think of Zombieland Saga and Idols in general. I've not seen Zombieland Saga. I've heard it's good. It
I
fall.
haven't seen that, but that was of the Idol anime. That one's one that kind of intrigued me as being maybe worth checking out because
My understanding
Idol
is it's
anime
pretty
just
good.
doesn't intrigue me at all. The only thing intriguing about Idol anime is so much of it, and people keep watching it.
See,
For me, the only draw for idol anime was like whatever music is in it.
yeah, I'm trying to think like of the weird shows that have idols, but they're not necessarily like the focus. Like Macross is,
Atmon.
yeah, like here's the thing: none of us are necessarily going to go watch an idol anime, but idol stuff is a big part of Atmon, and those are all parts that I don't
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember Dev's thoughts on Atmon because we haven't discussed it quite as much while she's been on the show. I remember both me, AR, also May. Some of our favorite parts of Atmon had to do
Yeah.
with the idol
Yeah.
stuff.
That's true.
So
I
as
still need to finish watching Atmon just because like the first arc of it was just so goddamn miserable to slog through. I kind of stopped keeping up with it.
fair
Just
enough.
watch the recap episode to get caught up and just start at
A,
halfway.
see, AR, I think we said that like a week or two ago, and you were like, "No, recap episode's miserable."
The recap episode is miserable if you've already seen the show. If you haven't, if you're skipping to the
Okay,
halfway
fair,
point,
fair, fair enough.
it's a fair enough way to catch up. It won't necessarily be entertaining, but you'll get the idea of where they're at.
Yeah, fair enough. And since music was being brought up, so I want to know how do we feel about genres, metal, light rock, and other genre.
I like music, yes.
Yeah, I fall basically into that of I generically like music. I don't necessarily go out of my way for genres. It's more a case of a song, I'll hear a song and then I will listen to it 1,000 times.
Yep, same.
Um, like
I just hate all the music that plays at my work because it's either country or breakup songs. Like I
gen-
just want to.
gener- generically country is what I like least, but every once in a while there's something country that
Yeah,
hits right.
every so often
It's
there's a country song
it's
that's good.
generally not newer country. It's like we're talking about the stuff that probably nowadays would be considered rock or soft rock, probably.
Yeah, even newer country. Every so often there's a something will come across. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's legit.
yeah. Um,
It happens.
yeah. So yeah, AR put it best. We like music. Um, but like I'll buy stupid music. Like I worked on Sergeant Frog and I got the CD single of the disco song that plays at the end because it was a very catchy, stupid song. I could not find the CD, and I'm like, I'm going to look at Yahoo Japan auctions. Oh, it's $1, and I can just have it thrown on to another package. Why
Heck
not?
yeah.
Why not? Because it. I mean, that is the point. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable. So I did that. I ripped it to a FLAC, and every once in a while I'll pull it up, and it's an amusing song. It's sung by a guy who appears in the show as himself with the song playing, even when the show stops using the song. And there's an evil version of him that shows up sometimes. His name's Dance Man. The evil one is Dasanu Masu. He pretends to be Dance Man. And that's stupid, and I love it.
Link that to me at some point.
I will find the ending clip. I think I ripped it and used it for social media for the show. But yeah, and when I show you the clip, it's a CGI version of the main character with a giant afro in a white pinstripe suit doing dance moves, and it's amazing. Last chance for questions because the last one that was sent. Someone wants to know: do you think there's going to be a good balance of Ghost Game products between Ghost Game, the Frontier anniversary, and the full franchise anniversary this year? First off, no, I don't think they'll
No,
be able to
that won't
balance
be a
three
good
No.
things.
balance. No.
Like here's where we're really a month from now is when we'll know better because one, that's the point where kind of Ghost Game stuff needs to start, or it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of happened with Cross Wars, where it's just like, okay, where's the merch?
Yeah,
Where is it?
Frontier Anniversary. It feels like we've already got it more than we would have expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
And full franchise anniversary. I think all we know about at the moment is the keychains, right?
I haven't paid any
I
attention to
think
that.
that's all we know, but there'll be something.
Oh yeah.
I really look forward to. It's not a sure bet, but it was funny when it upset people last time. Do you remember when they did the version revival V-Pets and people refused to buy them because they just relabeled the 20th. And then people got them and there were upgrades and people were upset they couldn't get them. And now every time the US 20th gets a new wave, people buy stacks of them just hoping it will be the revival version. And it's not. So full franchise we're going to see plenty of. Frontier, it's weird. Like, I know I already said it. Doesn't it feel like we already got more than we would have expected?
Yeah, then
The only
we'll
thing
get
I'm looking forward
we'll
to
get
now is
something.
like another
Yeah.
Graph Arts
Yeah, we'll get one or
collab.
two more of those.
Ghost
But I don't see a whole lot beyond that.
Ghost Game, it feels like if we don't start getting more announcements by when the full franchise anniversary happens, then we know how Ghost Game's doing.
At least give us more Gamamon plush.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming
please.
in August. I have it pre-ordered.
But they need to release Gamamon plush every like 3 years, like Terriermon stuff.
Exactly. Give me
Look,
like the big squishy ones.
Look, they can only do that with 3 Digimon, and they've chosen Agumon, Patamon, and Terriermon.
Sometimes Tailmon too.
True,
I have.
but yeah, they do a lot of Tailmons also.
They like to re-release Tailmon.
Yeah,
Cause it's a kitty.
Yeah, and last question that was sent in: what do we think of Mega Man Rockman? I've spent far too much of my life playing Mega Man games.
I have never been at all good with the NES Mega Man games. Mega Man X I'm okay at.
The music is fantastic. I suck at the games.
That too. Yeah, music's great.
Mega Man stuff I really love. I've always been a little bit upset in the last few years that they changed the names of the Reploids in X5. Because when X5 came out in the US, they thought up creative names that fit. And Capcom decided they didn't like that. They wanted to go back to the more generic theme names they'd come up with it. So they've sort of just erased the names out. And it kind of annoys me. Because they thought up such creative names that like were thematically appropriate to like music and stuff like that. And those are just all gone. Any re-release removes them. And it just because like you get Grizzly Slash, Duff McWhalen, Squid Adler, Izzy Glow,
Wow.
Dark Dizzy, the Skeever, Matrix, and Axel the Red.
I'm looking these up and like, wow.
No, they're like really creative names, and then you go to normal ones and it's Crescent Grizzly, Tidal Whale, Volt Kraken. Like, I get that's the theme of the X series, but the names they came up with are much better, and they're really fun names. And those are just
like
gone.
Guilty Gear level shit.
No, and that's exactly. They were all music themed names, and they worked really well. And just
a lot of them are weak against X Buster. What's up with that? Sorry.
No. You're not wrong. X5's what like I like it. A lot of people are kind of like, it's kind of a bit it's a bit of an odd one, especially since the story kind of ends with X5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved X5 and I really like those names. I still like them. And it's one of those things that kind of annoys me that they've sort of just gone, no, those aren't the official names. You have to use the exact theme, which is because the theme for X names is something to do with their attack and then the animal they are.
Animal. Yeah.
Yes. And, Axel the Red is a better name than Spike Rose Red.
Yep.
or stuff like
I
Grizz.
mean, and I guarantee you, none of those will be as good as Overdrive's Ostrich. So
And the single best one is still Duff McWhalen. That's
Duff McWhalen, that's someone I want to hang out with.
see. That's the thing is they all are very specific references. But yeah, those are all gone, and it's kind of annoying to me. And Sora said, "Get a PS1." I still have my PS1 disc. They can take Duff McWhalen out of my cold, dead hands. But yeah. Oh, I played it on PS3. I think I own it digitally also. I don't know. But yeah, AR, what have you been up to? What are you going to be up to?
I have been working on convention stuff for this month, and that's not going to change. Speaking of which, I am going to be at Anime Central on this weekend. My Digimon panel is at 3 o'clock on Saturday, so please check it out. Say hi. I have been working. I have to finish my panel. I started creating the slideshow panel for Ghost Game and coming up with really fun ways to insult the characters.
Someone asked if there was a
It's not that hard.
1 second. I'm scrolling through everything because someone asked, wasn't there a Canon Weissman question? I don't see one in the chat. If one was sent in, then it was sent to the wrong address because I don't think I ever got one about Canon Weissman. 1 second. I'm just like reconfirming in the chat. Scrolling through. If there is one, I don't see it. They may have meant they sent one in.
While you're looking, Dev, what's your article of the day?
Digitamamon, because I'm cheating.
Getting a head start. I like it.
Yep.
Oh,
Egg.
oh no, okay. They're apparently referencing me saying that I was going to mention something about it. No, that was the music one. That wasn't a question. That was a comment that I had
Oh,
about
that
it.
they didn't have the new music?
Yeah, because we
Oh,
were
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
talking about music later. Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't a question. That was me holding off on a thought I had. Okay, they're very good that they caught that.
Okay.
See, I thought they meant that we like missed a question that was sent in. No, yeah, it was just that the
No.
music kind of was
Just
boring. Yeah,
yeah.
you can get away with reusing Braveheart. I
Yes.
don't. First Rider does not have the energy for that extra amp up, I think.
I'm not even sure that if you had a series that even if you have a song that is as good as Braveheart, that nowadays you
Oh
could
no,
get away with
no,
that.
you wouldn't
Just
nowadays.
because I mean part of what it is with it, what makes
Well, no,
Braveheart you get away with it in Braveheart is it was the first season, so we don't have that expectation of
except here's the
having
thing: you can get away with Braveheart because regardless of if it worked or not, they did it with First Rider. You can get
yeah.
away with it. I
Yeah.
just don't think it works with First Rider specifically.
Hmm.
It's
Uh,
just
and
Yeah.
AR, before we finish off, there's a question for you in the chat.
No, we don't have. I don't panels.
Yeah.
Because I don't have. I just don't have the means to.
Yeah.
It's enough trouble getting the panel to go to begin with.
Very understandable. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. That was a weird one. We had a lot of weird conversation in that one.
I mean, it was a weird episode.
It was, but
What
like
can I say?
we went from vampires to financials. Then we talked about model kits. It was a good one. And then we ended with the most important thing in the history of mankind, Duff McWhalen.
exactly.
Duff McWhalen could beat Vamptamon straight up in a fight.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.